Hello, good morning. This is Larry Happy Day. I am bringing the second edition of Careful Listening to you as a fulfillment of the promise I made last week. We talked about careful listening, and careful listening is an attribute that makes for success in business. It makes for success in academics. It makes for success in human relationships. It makes for success in marriage. Indeed, without careful listening, you are likely to run into constant conflicts in the marriage, in your understanding process, in business, and then so many things can go wrong. Therefore, today I bring you the second edition, which has to do with what do we do when we listen. Listening generally can be of different types. The first type is the careless type of listening, which involves everybody talking at the same time and nobody is talking. Indeed, when everybody is talking, nobody is talking because no communication is taking place. The only thing you are having is a discordant expression of sounds that have no meaning. Without meaning, without feedback, communication is not successful. Now, listen to me. When you communicate with somebody, you have an intention to send a message. When the person is communicating with you, the person has a message that he or she intends that you will understand. The only way this can happen is when you have an active listening process. And so, when I spoke about listening with your eyes last week, this is what I mean. When you listen, your ears are hearing sounds, are trying to decipher or to understand what the sounds mean. However, it is important that you also listen with your eyes. When you listen with your eyes, you will be able to observe that sometimes, in fact, most of the time, when people say a thing, they mean a different thing. When they say one thing, they are indeed saying another thing. I will give you an example. When I was young, I was very curious to find out why some of my schoolmates who were girls often had a monthly complaint about having pains in their stomach and so on and so forth, until I learned that this was something that was related to their monthly cycle. Now, what did I do? The only way you could show empathy to such girls is to ask whether they had taken Panadol. And once the person says yes, she had taken Panadol, I knew that it was the cycle. And so that was the only way you could, and then you could just do the normal, sorry. But here was a situation where somebody was saying something, and then the meaning of what she was saying was different. Stomach pain. I was having pain in my stomach. Those are the kind of complaints that you get from young women when they go through their period. But then you ask yourself, what is the relationship between stomach pain and Panadol? That is when it began to make sense to me that this was something that was different. So the stomach pain is not the pain as such, but it is something that is associated with a much bigger issue. Now, the same thing happens in every other communication that we do in life. If you notice that somebody is saying something and the eyes are darting up and down and not concentrating on what he or she is saying, there's a chance that this person is lying. The same thing happens with the movement of the hands and the feet. You will find that when somebody is lying, they always do all kinds of things to hide their lies, including putting away their eyes from you. So if you are not observing and you are just listening to what that person is saying, you are the tendency for you to lose your money, to lose your integrity and respect is very high, because you will fall into the lies of that person. But if you are able to see and observe the movements of the eyes and the other parts of the body as the person is speaking, you are likely to discover some other hidden meanings that are not involved in the speech process. Therefore, you'll find that behind or beneath the speech, there is a lot of communication that goes on that is not put into words. And that is where you must be an active listener in order to understand what the other person is saying, and then to reduce friction and misunderstanding that can lead not only to loss of good relationships, but loss of investment, loss of love, loss of understanding, and loss of progress. Because without active listening, you will be operating outside the circle of success. I hope that today's lesson has left you with something to think about. Next time, we'll be talking about other aspects of active listening, other aspects of listening carefully. I wish you a very successful week, and I pray that you will effectively begin to listen better so that you will become a much more successful person. Have a brilliant week, and bye-bye. See you next week.